First of all, thank you all for coming. My name is Mateu, and I've been working at ForgeFlow for the last 3 years. Well, we are a company based in Barcelona, and okay, sorry. We are a company based in Barcelona, but we have clients all over the world. You may know us for our contributions in the OCA, which forms a big part of what we do. And we strongly support what the concept of what the OCA means. I have divided this presentation in different sections, and I will try to cover the aspects that I find most relevant or interesting regarding my work experience on different companies, and especially with a company that has experienced the biggest growth as an e-commerce in Denmark for several years. So I will explain a bit the challenges that we face on a daily basis and how we face different projects and new implementations. So as I am doing this presentation in the OCA, I don't need to go a lot into detail on the benefits of Odoo, but I believe I can summarize them in these few points. First of all, it's a really cost-effective solution. It allows scalability, so when your business grows, you have more needs, more business processes to set up, and Odoo allows you to install different modules to increase the general features of the system. And you can take these modules either from Odoo, from the OCA, or in case you have really specific needs, you can customize the system by creating a custom module. So I will jump directly to the topic. This presentation will be basically based on the work we do for this big Danish company. And this company was founded in Denmark in 2015, and it has operation in over 50 countries all over the world, and it has a really importance in different markets like the Nordic countries, Germany, the United States, Canada, etc. And in order for you to get a bit of a picture of the size of the company, last year we had over 1.6 million sale orders, and this year we have already achieved this number. And this translates to roughly one order every 20 seconds, but this is an average. So in highly season, you can almost see one order coming every second. So if you go to the sale order view and you refresh, you can see orders coming all the time. So obviously, for a system this big, you need automation to manage the different processes, because it would be a really tedious task to carry all the sale order validation, all the picking validation processes manually. So I will talk about the main flow, which is the sale order flow. Obviously, behind this there are a lot of flows, like the purchase flow, a lot of other flows. But I believe I can simplify a bit the flow here. First of all, sale order comes through the e-commerce platform, which is synced with Odoo. And then we get a sale order in Odoo. We confirm this sale order, we validate it. And then here it comes the only manual part that we have in this flow, which is the picking processing. And well, here you can see this AutoStore and carriers. First of all, there is this system that I will explain later, which is called AutoStore, which helps increase the speed and the productivity of the company. Then it is done a connection with the carriers, and after that everything is automated. Odoo checks if all the picking has been validated, if all the lines in the sale order have already been fulfilled, and then it is done a connection with a carrier provider, which is some carriers like DHL, apps, a carrier service. And then it is done a connection with a payment provider. It is created what we call a payment request that captures the money from the customer in the payment provider or in the bank. And then on another part of the code, it is done another connection with the payment provider in order to get the different transactions, and you reconcile these transactions with the invoices in Odoo. Today we have a presentation by one of our colleagues at 11 o'clock, I believe. So if you are interested on how we deal with that, well, I welcome you to join us. And well, here I will focus on the auto store. I said it's a manual process, but they have this system which is based on these different robots that fetch these boxes. And inside each of these boxes, there is a certain amount of the same product. And this small robot delivers this box to an operator that takes the amount that he needs for that picking. And then, well, another robot comes with the next product. And once the picking is done, the manager system of the AutoStore sends a message to Odoo saying that this picking is already done, and then we come to the process that I explained before. We send the picking to a carrier service, and we connect with the provider in order to carry all the operations account-wise. So now I will jump directly to our role as consultants, and I have divided this into two main points. First of all, there is the job that we do as technical, so the technical job, and on the other hand, there is the consultant work that we do. The technical role would be basically automating processes, integrating with other systems like e-commerce platforms, payment providers, banks, also carrier providers, well, etc., product management tools, all of that. And, well, at the end, what we do is we maintain a healthy system. We detect and deal with different issues, and we design new flows along with stakeholders. We implement new features. And at the end, what we do is we have a general overview, and we participate from the beginning to the end of the Odoo implementation. So we write the code, we test the code, we deploy the code, and we do the follow-up after deploying, doing tasks like documentation, training of users. So it is a bit that we do all this part from the beginning to the end of the Odoo implementation. And on the consultant part, we have the interaction with members of the company. You have interactions with company managers or people that work in the company. And we provide feedback on scheduled projects. And here we have like two feedbacks that we provide. First, we provide feedback on what we believe the timeline will be with that project. But we also provide feedback on what we believe is the best way to approach that project. What's the best, well, in general, what's the best way to approach a project, and all the tasks that we feel must be done before we implement this project. So at the end, what we do is we design the flows with stakeholders, and here it becomes what I believe is the most important part of our job, which is the negotiation of requirements. Because usually you receive like a raw requirement, we need to implement this feature, we need to integrate this system, or we want this to work this way. And here it is important, I believe, not just to ask for the requirements of the project, but also to ask for the justification behind these requirements. Because you can find yourself that most of the times these requirements have been defined by somebody that doesn't have experience with Odoo, and it is our functional and technical experience in the system that can provide different solutions or solutions that may have been overlooked due to this lack of experience in Odoo. So, well, this negotiation of requirements is a bit of the dance that we do. We try to change a bit what they ask in order to maintain and keep the healthiest system that we can. So, well, the technical debt. Another battle that we have is the one regarding technical debt. I assume you are already familiar with the concept, which is that for any new module that you do, any new implementation that you do, you will have some future work that you will have to deal with it. So it is really important to minimize this technical debt. And what we find is that sometimes, as the health of the system is not something that has a beginning and an end, it's something that you need to do all the time, doesn't have a time assigned to it. It doesn't have, you can work on this for these 6 months. It's something that it's a global task that needs to be done. So it is our job as Odoo consultants to strongly encourage our customers, our clients, to include this task in their schedules. Well, this is an investment that will show the benefits in the long term. In the short term, it's this eternal debate that you do a fast implementation, but it is a bad implementation. And it is important to do a very good implementation in order to avoid and minimize as much as possible the technical debt. We also review existing code. We review also all the features that have been developed in the past, but because these features may no longer be used. And at the end, what our goal is to keep the healthiest system as possible while aligning with the company needs. And well, here I will quickly mention some projects that we've been involved in. We did the Odoo migration of this company some years ago. And well, we did also code migration. We renewed the deployment process of this company. We also set up a dropshipping flow in the United States. We opened a company there, and we prepared the financial flows and also all the stockable moves flow. And we also integrated with AutoStore, which is the system that I displayed before. And yeah, we are now working on new e-commerce integration and also in integration with a product management tool. So after these few examples of projects, I will display well, the challenges that I find most interesting. I will divide it the same as I did before. There is the part of the technical challenges, and also there are the consultant challenges. On the technical part, we have the data migration. It is always a difficult task to migrate data. And also we have the added complexity that we have a really big system. And this big system, what it generates is that you have longer script times, you have longer processing data times, and also in case anything goes south, the recovery time is also bigger. So it is important to have everything really, to have a really detailed plan in order to account for any unexpected turn of events. Well, another challenge that we face all day is the battle between customization and standardization. At the end, you need to find a balance on what the client wants and what the health of the system demands you. And this is the constant dance that I mentioned before. Usually the client prioritizes the speed of the deployment of a process, but it is important as it is our job to remind the client to keep a good health of the system. We also face difficulties integrating with third parties. Usually the documentation it is difficult to follow. Long documentation, 500 pages documentation. This is something that maybe you spend half of the project reading documentation before you start working on the code. And well, at the end, feature deployment. We need to agree on schedules because the system needs to be up at all times. So you cannot stop Odoo for a whole day or for a couple of hours if you don't correctly schedule that downtime and correctly deploy it. And on the consultant challenges, well, basically I believe they can be summarized as miscommunication because you need to be in constant communication with the client because you may have, at the beginning of a project, you may have some requirements, but then the business needs change or there is a change in, I don't know, maybe you don't use the same payment provider as it was intended at the beginning. So it is really important to be in constant communication with the client. Also, we work with other tech teams, not from Odoo, and what they do affects what we do, and the other way around. So it is really important to be aligned in what we are developing in order to deliver the project as best as we can. And here I have summarized a bit of the best practices that we use. Well, first of all, I believe it is really important to develop a detailed planning with the project requirements. And as I said before, it is really important to ask the client for the justification behind those requirements. And because, well, as I said, we can come up with a better solution as we have the global knowledge of the system and we know how Odoo works. And what I would recommend in this communication with the client is to end every meeting with a list of actions to do, and also to write everything down. Because you can have a meeting, 2-hour-long meeting, and you discuss a lot of things, you go back and forth, and sometimes something may seem decided one way, but it is decided the other way. So the good practice that I would recommend is writing down this in a ticket, in a Jira ticket, whatever, and sending this to the stakeholders so they can validate this. And now you have a list, and at that date, this was decided this way. Also, another strategy for success, obviously, is testing. This is more on the technical side. It is really important to do a good testing, and I would advise when you test your code to try to break it. I mean, you need to imagine somebody who wants to harm the system, what actions can he do in order to break that flow. And I believe doing this, you avoid a lot of corner cases that will appear in the future. And, well, another thing that we do with the testing of big projects is a thing that we call rehearsals. So we prepare first rehearsal. We prepare a testing system with the new feature that we want to implement, and we send this to the customer. And then they have some time to test that feature, and they provide us a feedback of the list of errors, a list of things that they want to change. And with this feedback, we fix all the errors, we change the features that need to be changed, and we set up the second rehearsal. We prepare another testing database, and again, the process starts. They test it for a period of time, let's say a week. And we do this repeatedly until we come with the best solution with the accepted solution on both sides. And then we go to the deployment part. Then I would also advise to assign a time after a project for post-deployment tasks. For instance, it is really important. Usually companies have a really marked schedule on the projects that they want to do. So after a project, you already start working on the next project without stop. And it is important to have a period of time, a small period of time after the deployment for troubleshooting to fix the errors that appear. And also for a task that I believe it is also really important, for the tasks of documentation and providing training support to the customer. Because these tasks may be overlooked sometimes, and it is really important to have a good documentation. And I would say that the documentation needs to be concise, precise, and really simple. And your colleagues will be grateful, and also your future self will be really grateful to you on having this concise documentation. Also, another really important thing is to provide good training and support to the customer, because we have faced that sometimes we design a flow, we agree the flow with the stakeholders, we deploy the flow, everything works fine, everything is good, and the Odoo users start doing actions that were not planned, and this breaks the flow. So it is also really important to also this communication and providing this training to customers. And yeah, I would also advise this continuous improvement, because you may find that sometimes companies have modules from other places that maybe don't meet your standards or your best practices. And whenever you do a new implementation of code, or you see bad code in the system, you need to fix that. So this is a constant task of reviewing everything that there is, reviewing the features that the system has, and removing these features if they are no longer used. So at the end, what I believe it is a success in our relationship with this company is that we have clients' confidence. The client trusts us. We have earned their trust. And this way, this is a thing that benefits us both ways, because we have the confidence also to tell them what we believe. And we can tell, for instance, we can say, we don't like this project. This project will be something that will harm the system, and we prefer not to do it this way. We want to do it that way. So we have a strong synergy, which is due also because we have a a long time partnership with them. And yeah, at the end, what we do is we provide customized solutions, not custom code, but customized solutions, which means that we know what is best. We can take modules from Odoo, from the OCA, or well, also write custom code. But we know what is the best that we can implement this system. And well, at the end, yeah, we provide daily support and continuous improvement. We are always available for them in case the system goes down or some error appears. And what this relationship with this client has generated is a cost decrease, an increase in user satisfaction. You can see most of the times when you implement a new feature that stakeholders are really happy with that feature because it speeds a lot their work. Maybe the system was slow in some place in Odoo, and then the system is fast again, and they are really happy, and they provide you this feedback that they are really happy on the new feature that you have developed. And well, at the end, there is an increase in productivity. And well, this is a bit what I wanted to talk about. These are the best practices that we use at ForgeFlow, and it is something that works for us. And we achieve a long-term relationship with different clients which trust us. And well, hope you enjoyed my presentation, and if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask them. Thank you.
Does the customer also use Odoo Enterprise?
Yeah. Well, we have a mix. We use a lot of OCA modules in the system.
Yeah, we're facing the same funny situation wanting to migrate. OCA plus customization plus enterprise. But we migrated the OpenGrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even using enterprise. Yeah. No, but you get the return from the enterprise script, and then on that you can run the open.
No.
Because
yeah,
it's so complex, so mundane, right?
No, yeah, and the thing is, well, I saw a presentation of Odoo. You can send the whole database to Odoo, but well, this is a huge database, and also you don't exactly know that it's a black box that you send there, the database, and you don't know what happens. So we can control better what we do with Open Upgrade.
I can ask that too. How big is this customer revenue-wise for you? Is it like 100,000, 200,000 euro a year ballpark?
Well, I don't know if I can disclose this. Maybe we can discuss it later. You can come up to us and yeah.
Because I mean, everything you say here, it's so logical, you know, but it's hard to sometimes get it right, especially with clients that have a bit more of a corporate profile where internal politics also happen.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, yes, we're going to do this, and then you wait for it for 1.5 years maybe because some other department was fighting the department that talks about Odoo.
Yeah, it's a bit the fight that I mentioned because sometimes the priorities of the project come from above, or maybe we say that we want some project to be developed, and that priority needs to go up top, and then it needs to go down, and this may take some weeks to prioritize. So it's this constant battle where we say what we want to do, or we say what we believe needs to be done, and then it needs to be approved. So, but I guess all companies work this way, so there's nothing else to do, right?
Sometimes you service an SME where there's a dictator at the top, and they are technically minded, and they like Odoo. And then it's super easy. They say, we're doing it this way, and then you tell them, no, that's technically not sweet. And then they say, okay, you know better, implement.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Also leads to a lot of technical debt, but it's a nice way of doing work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you.